Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Something to Think About. My name is Kili. A lot of people call me King Kili, but you can call me Kili for now. And yes, let's get to it. So, I'm feeling good today. I have a lot on my mind. I can't wait to share what's I've been thinking about, and I'm glad that everybody is following my journey. I've been working with people, talking to people, finding ways of building this platform, learning more about camera work, voice work, all kinds of work. So, we're growing. So thank you for following my journey. But it's time to punch greatness in the face and punch perfection in the face. And that's what we're doing. So let's get into this topic. So I'm currently recording this right now, Thursday, May 27th, 2021. Cool. I want to start off 2 days ago, Tuesday, May 25th, 2021. And it's the 1 year anniversary since the tragic passing of George Floyd, which shook up the world, like literally shook up the world. And it's very, very, very unfortunate, and it's tragic. And it's very interesting that something that intense was able to wake the world up on how racism works in this world. And it's very, very, very a double-edged sword on a lot of, reasons. But, let's just get into this. So 2 days ago, I was with my band and we played a show. And after the show, we all went out to hang out. And basically, I was vibing with, a lot of my bandmates. And one of my bandmates, she's a white woman. And we were talking about, this is the 1 year anniversary of the George Floyd passing. And we were just talking about it and vibing and talking about it. And something she said to me, she asked and she looked at me. She's like, what can I do to help? What can I do to help? I mean, this is the first time I'm meeting her, and she's very, very intrigued by the kind of conversations I'm having with her. So she feels like, she wants to be my friend, and we're gonna be friends. We're gonna see what's up. Everything's gonna be cool. And she says to me, like, what can I do to help? What can I do to help? And I just said, educate yourself. Educate yourself. Educate yourself. Just learn about these things, Now, I'm not no critical race theorist yet. I'm not though. I got a doctorate in critical race theory and all these stuff. So I'm not trying to tell her all the performative stuff, basically. You could do this and read this books and look at these links and donate this amount of money to charity and do this and do that, whatever the case is, But seriously, what I meant by educating yourself is, learn about these things, or learn about people, learn about yourself. A lot of times when it comes to situations about racism and, privilege, it has a lot to do about who we are as individuals and how we relate to ourselves. And then that way we could find ways to be more empathetic to other people. So I just told her, like, educate yourself. And, we were, good conversation. We were talking to other people and everything was cool. But remember that what I'm just telling you now, because that night, while I was at this band rehearsal, the Brooklyn Nets, shout out to the Brooklyn Nets. I'm a New York fan. It's NBA playoff basketball. I'm definitely going to do a lot more sports on this channel. So the Nets and the Knicks are playing, and yay, New York. I can't wait, But the Brooklyn Nets, they recently defeated the Boston Celtics. And one of the Brooklyn Nets star players, his name is Kyrie Irving. Now, Kyrie Irving used to play for the Celtics. So let me just give you a little bit of quick backstory. So Kyrie Irving, he used to play for the Celtics for 2 seasons, but especially the last season, the second season of his Boston Celtics career, it was very, very rocky. Very, very, very rocky. Now, Kyrie Irving, one random fundraiser day before a game when he was in the Boston Celtics, he, got on the microphone and said, like, I would love to re-sign with Boston. They continued the season, and they failed to win a championship, and they had a horrible postseason. And he then left to go play with the Brooklyn Nets, and that's where we are now. Now, Kyrie Irving has this thing with the media. He's very, sometimes he can come off as very rude, arrogant, kind of like diva-ish, but I respect some of his points of view because he's a very artistic mind, creative mind, and he's one of those people, like, he has a lot of strong feelings about, very, very real topics that's going on. And the media loves to, like, bash him a lot of times. So he bashes the media for bashing him, and it's this weird thing. And, You know, it could come off very arrogant at times, but also it could come off very genuine at times. Or maybe that's just the way he needs to stand up for himself. Anyway, the Brooklyn Nets are going to go play a game tomorrow, Friday, the 28th, against the Boston Celtics. And this is the first time Kyrie Irving is going to be playing against the Boston Celtics at their stadium with fans. So they ask him at the press conference after their win back on Tuesday, and they say, I'm paraphrasing, like, what are you excited for? Are you ready for, the challenge? And he's like, yeah, I can't wait. And he then says, I hope, and I'm paraphrasing, but he says, I hope there's no racism. There's no subtle racism at the game. I hope there's no racism. I hope there's no subtle racism at the game. So the next day, which was yesterday, the 26th, Wednesday, and the media, and particularly ESPN, the media, oh my goodness, why did you have to say that? I'm not going to name whose name it is, but, oh, Kyrie, why did you have to say that? Boston is a lovely town. And yes, there are some rotten apples, but, no bad apple spoils the whole bunch. And, Kyrie, you shouldn't be upset because, of the racism, worried about the racism, because, you're the one they're going to be booing because you're the one that you promised them that you're going to re-sign with them and then you didn't. And, okay, cool. But what happened was later today, other playoff games happened where in MSG in the Garden during a Knicks game, a fan spit at an opposing player, Trae Young for the Atlanta Hawks. Also in another game, in Philadelphia, a fan poured popcorn on Russell Westbrook. Okay, Russell Westbrook plays for the Washington Wizards. A Philadelphia 76ers fan poured popcorn on Russell Westbrook. So these are instances right there where fans, we're getting back into the stadium. Everybody's happy, to see playoff basketball and everybody's cheering for the team. And yet we're having these incidents where fans are disrespecting players. And now who are these basketball players? Black men. Who are these fans doing that? White men. So, of course, there's a racial component that goes into it. And, of course, we know that sports, especially in America, has a long, tough history when it comes to black men because, the idea of black men being used for their bodies. And, of course, the words trade and draft and block, these are words that were also used, back in the day during the slave days. So there's a real connection between sports and slavery, and it passed on for generations. Now, of course, basketball players are getting paid, but they're always still trying to fight for their freedom in a different way, freedom to be treated like individuals. So it's very, very interesting that that's a parallel going on. Now, remember, George Floyd, tall black man. Who was George Floyd's best friend at one point in their life? Steven Jackson. Who was Steven Jackson? A former basketball player, a former NBA player. So you see the correlation with these things I'm pointing out to you? So when it goes back to that story I told in the beginning about just educating yourself, these are things that you should just, pay attention to, draw conclusions, draw comparisons. And that way you know how to appreciate people. If you love sports, you can watch it, but understand there's different elements and different components to the game and to people. Educate yourself, learn about these things, and learn about yourself. Those people throwing the popcorn and spitting, and the people that Kyrie Irving has to warn the media about because they're, performing racist acts, they're not in tune with who they are. Because if they were in tune with who they are, they would know you don't treat someone like that. Just because it's a basketball game, you don't treat someone disrespectfully. Yes, they're basketball players, and yes, we want to boo and, root against them. But we also know that they are individuals. Learn about these things. So these are some of my thoughts. I hope people, get inspired. If you feel like you want to comment on something, please, I would love to read. And like I said, we're building this platform because I'm not just going to talk about hip hop all the time. We're going to talk about a whole range of things. So, be on the lookout for more videos. And thank you, y'all. And let's get to it. Peace.